This year has been tighter than ever on our hip pockets, especially when it comes to the rising cost of beef. So it's Christmas time, you may be looking to splash out and treat your family and friends. So I want to share all of the best tips to get a roast with the most flavour so you can cook it to perfection and impress your family and friends so you really feel like you've got your best value for money. Today I'm going to share with you my thyme and horseradish crusted beef roast with a silky Shiraz jus. Any roast with olive oil, salt and pepper just on the barbecue will have that smoke and wonderful flavour, but today we're going a little bit extra because it is Christmas and creating a crust on the outside. So first we're starting with horseradish. So this is horseradish cream. It has oil already whipped up inside with that horseradish. Don't use straight because it will be too hot and spicy, but this one will add a beautiful flavour without that spice and we'll use that oil to our advantage. So let's add this into our bowl. The next ingredient that we're going in with is our beef rub. So we're using this just like a seasoning with salt and pepper, but it has those extra wonderful flavors. Traditionally, this was designed for a low and slow big cut of brisket or beef ribs, but it actually works terrific on beef roast too. So just add a couple spoons of that in there. So the third and final ingredient is some fresh thyme. So I'm just going to head to the veggie pod to freshly pick some. This thyme is getting me excited. It smells so good and I know that thyme pairs perfectly with beef. So this is going to be delicious. We can just strip off those leaves and then we'll quickly run our knife through it and then that can go into our crusty mix. Beautiful, and that can go straight in. And we'll give that a little mix. That is all done. It's time to get our barbecue preheating. To transform your Weber from barbecuing to roasting mode, use these two accessories that come in the roasting pack. We've got our convection tray and trivet. Add that on, nice and easy, and now we just preheat on high for 10 minutes. When it comes to cooking a roast, one of the biggest myths that I love to bust is people calculating the cooking time by the weight. It has little to do with the weight, it's all about the thickness of the meat. And at Weber, we have this amazing tip to help you calculate the cooking time. All you need is a ruler. Just measure the thickest part of the meat and calculate 1 minute per millimetre, and that will get a roast like this to a perfect medium result. So let's have a look. So this roast is about 80 mils thick, so it's going to take 80 minutes to cook through to a medium result. So knowing that cooking time is excellent, so you can plan ahead, you know exactly when to put your veggies on, but if you're wanting to perfect that doneness, use a thermometer just like the Weber Connect here. So once I've got this all seasoned up, I'll show you how to plug this in. A standing beef rib roast is one of my favourite roasts because it is simply so impressive, especially with those bones hanging out. But we want to protect those bones so they don't burn during that cooking time, so just wrap them with foil. Perfect. And now we can add our flavoursome crust all over the beef. So let's start with the underside of the roast first. So we finish on that beautiful presentation side. We can just spread this mix on. Another reason why I love this roast is the meat, the Scotch fillet the whole way along, the beautiful marbling, heaps of flavour, delicious. But if you prefer other roasts like sirloin roast, maybe even rump roast or bowler roast, use all of these tips, they will turn out terrific. Now we can flip that over and do the other side. This is all done. Last thing to do is add our probe in because we want this cooked perfectly. We can just plug that in. Now, what we want to do is make sure that this is in the very center part of the thickest piece of the roast. So you could go in the sides, but then if you've got a really long roast, it's not going to hit that center. So I like to go straight through the middle to measure that thickest part, just to approximate on the side, put your finger there as a marker, and then we can insert that in. The barbecue is preheated, so this is ready to go on. Whenever you're roasting, make sure it goes directly onto that convection tray and trivet. You'll have the best flavour as the juices can still pull through and create that wonderful smoke. It'll cook perfectly even too. Now we can turn this down to the roasting setting. Our roast has been cooking away for 20 minutes, so now it's the perfect time to add our veggies. All I've done is just chopped them up, coat them with a little olive oil, and then seasoned them with our herb seasoning. While I've been prepping my jus ingredients, the phone has gone off. Connect has told me that my beef roast is ready, so I'm keen to check it out. Yes, that is perfect. Look at that crust that's formed on the outside. See, the juices are bubbling. And then we've got our golden roast potatoes, so delicious. While our beef is resting, we're going to take the opportunity to make a jus on the barbecue. So I just need to remove the convection tray and trivet and then pop my casserole dish on. To make our silky Shiraz jus, first what I'm doing is sauteing off some shallots and garlic. Next we can go in with some beef stock. It's good to use salt reduced beef stock, otherwise it will be too salty by the time this completely reduces down. Next we can go in with our Shiraz. Balsamic vinegar, I love the flavour profile that this adds to the jus, and then a bit of brown sugar for sweetness, and then some thyme. And we'll just let this reduce down for about 15 minutes. Once that's reduced down to about 1/3 of the amount of liquid, we can go in with our resting juices from our roast and then some butter to make this nice and silky. All the smells are so wonderful. I think we have a few jelly neighbours at the moment. It's time to get my jus off. I'm just going to strain it and then we can season it with salt and pepper. Wonderful. All these ingredients have done their job. It's time to give it a little taste. My gosh, that is so good. It only needs the tiniest amount of salt. With those meat juices and the salted butter, it's quite salty enough. But I always love a bit extra salt and a good cracker pepper. Our beef has had a really nice long rest while we made that jus. Just snip those strings off and then we can carve into it. Now time for the big reveal. We'll slice in. Get straight in there. Look at that, perfect blushing pink. Now we're just going to go in and slice the next one, using the back of the bones there as a guide to know where to slice. Look at that, perfect. Absolutely stunning. It's perfectly cooked medium. Now, if you like your meat cooked a little less, by all means, use the Connect app. It'll perfect that doneness every time. But my guests love their meat medium, so this is going to be perfect. Just an extra little sprinkle of fresh thyme, and then we can finish it off with our jus. There you have it, my thyme and horseradish crusted roast beef with Shiraz jus. If you'd like even more cooking tips or recipe inspiration, head to our website or reach out to a customer service team or head into your local Weber store. I think it's time I tuck in. No, just kidding, I'll be a bit more delicate. I need a knife.